This is Chandra, and I'm going to start a new series that I'm going to try anyway, once a week, to post a video and to make something that I've actually pinned on Pinterest. So if you want to follow me on Pinterest, it's Chandra Kleist Carpenter, and we're going to start with a mini album type thing, of course. And this one is called Botanical Tea Gift Set Wallet Mini. And this was on the graphic45.ning.com site. And it is this. Raddick. Sabrina Raddick. She made that. And so I'm going to make something similar to this. So the first sheet you need is an 8 by 11 sheet of cardstock. I'm using craft cardstock. And so I'm going to put it 11-inch side at the top, and I'm going to score at 3.5, 3 3/4, and then next score mark is 7 1/4 and 7 1/2. And this is going to make the base for the wallet type. It's my prototype. I always try to make one. So I'm going to make this pocket on this side. I have waterfall here. There's a little flap here, and then there are pockets here that have tags in them. So we're going to make this pocket right here. And so for that, you need a sheet that measures 2.5 by 9. So I'm going to stick it so that the 2.5-inch side is going across this top, and I'm going to score it 1/2 inch. I'm going to rotate it so that the 9-inch side, and I'm going to score it 1/2 and 8.5. Okay. Next thing that we're going to make are the waterfall type cards. You're going to need 8 that measure 3 7/16 by 5. Okay, so I have these all cut out. They're 8. There's 8. So I'm going to stick it so that the 5-inch side is at the top. I'm going to score it 4.5. Now we're going to make the flap, and what you're going to need there is a 4 by 8-inch piece, and all you're going to score right now is just 1/2 inch on one side. So the 4-inch side is at the top, and I'm going to score it 1/2 inch. Score, you're going to need one that measures 4.5 by 2.5, and then 5 pieces that measure 4.5 by 2. And you're going to score the first one that measures 4.5 by 2.5. You're going to stick it so that the 4.5-inch side is at the top. You're going to score at 1/2 inch, and at 4, you're going to rotate it and score at 2. So you'll have 3 score marks there. Okay. So the next 5, you're only going to score on the 4.5-inch side, 1/2 inch, and then at 4. So first things first, our 8 by 11-inch, I'm just going to fold on all my score marks and burnish my score marks. So that, like I said, is the basis of it. Now I'm going to take my 2.5 by 9-inch sheet that we scored, and I'm going to fold on all my score marks. Okay. I'm going to apply imagine that. Okay, so I'm going to apply score tape on the flaps when they're extended. They're not folded right now. Then I'm just going to miter the corners. I'm going to cut out this little square here. Okay, I'm going to do that on this side as well, just so that when I fold it down, it folds nicely. Then I'm going to fold down my side flaps. Again, I do this so that my tags don't get stuck on the bottom flap here, and then I'm going to push the bottom up. Remove the tape backing on the long side. I'm going to put it on the left side flap. I'm lining it up on the bottom here and also on the side. And now I'm just going to burnish it with my bone folder. There it is. So that my tape is stuck down nicely. And this is the first pocket. Now we're going to do the waterfall flaps here. So I'm going to take all my pieces. I'm going to fold on the score marks. Video, I'm just going to show you how I'm making this, and in the next video I will mat it. And I'm applying the tape above the score mark on these flaps so that when I fold it down, they're going to do that. So, oops, I got one here. Okay. So now I'm just going to remove the tape backing. I'm going to fold it down so that the tape is on the back, and I'm going to butt this folded edge up with this top edge, and I'm going to center it in between the two score marks. This score mark and this score mark. Okay? So I'm just going to turn it to the side so that I can get a good vision, good sight, without getting my head in the way too much. Oh, do you see my big honker? Okay, here we go. So that's the first one. Now the other ones will be simple. Right there's the flap. We're going to butt the next fold up with this line right there. Oops, this one doesn't seem to be... I'm just going to keep on doing this for all of them. I'm lining it up. And I cut them at 3 7/16 because if you cut them at 3 1/2, you're not going to be able to fold this. It's going to butt up against it. You're going to have to cut some off. So it's just easier doing it this way. So there's going to be a tiny little gap on the left or right side, depending on how well you center it. Okay, so that's all of the waterfall. Can I still close it? Yep. Okay, so the next part is the flapperdoodle. This one that we scored, the 4x8 that we scored on 1/2 inch. I'm going to get my envelope punch board, and the side that's not scored, this is the side that's scored, is down here. I'm going to line the left side up with the 3-inch mark, and I'm going to punch. I'm going to flip it over, and then I'm lining this corner up with the corner inside of there. Let me see. There's this line right here and this line right here. So I'm going to put the corner right there, and I'm going to punch. Okay. And then I'm done with that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to flip it over here, and I'm going to line my blade up with this little, I'm going to line this up so that I cover this little V type thing, so it's right there, and I'm going to chop off this long strip here, and that way it's going to make our tab. Then I'm just going to round the corner with my 1/4 inch. Okay, and I'm going to put it on this side here. So I'm going to place the tape on it. This is extended, and I think we're going to have a kitty come over here in a minute. No, she's on a different shelf. Now I'm going to cut off no matter these corners. And then I'm going to place the folded edge just on this side of the score mark. I'm going to burnish. Now this is going to be, you can apply this before you apply these, or you can apply it on this side. Either way, you're going to have to do some finagling, and I'll show you that here in a minute with it, folding it over. Now I'm going to take all those little strips that we cut, the 4 1/2 by 2 1/2 and the 4 1/2 by 2. This is the 4 1/2 by 2 1/2 that we scored on 3 sides. So I'm going to place my score tape on the flaps like this, and then I'm going to cut out the little corner, the little box here. on both sides. Now I'm going to fold the flap so that the tape side is sticking up. Take the tape backing off the two sides first, and then fold the bottom flap on top of those. I'm going to burnish it again to get these little points here. If there's points sticking out, sometimes you'll have some cardstock sticking out here. You can trim that off, but I do not have that this time. So now on the right side, I'm going to line the folded edges up with the cut of the paper here. Now these are the ones that measure 2 by 4.5. And so what I want to do is I want to cut 1 inch off this bottom flap here on all of these. So all I'm going to do is take my ruler, line it up to 1 inch, and I'm just going to cut on either side. And then I'm going to snip right on that score mark. And you can do it like a little bit left of the score mark. See how I kind of angled up into there? See the score mark there? Oops, let me get my big fat finger out of the way. I'm just going to cut like that. Okay, so I'm going to do that to all of these. So all I'm going to do is just line them up so I don't have to keep on measuring, and cut them off. And this way I am able to make sure that 1 inch is sticking up on all of my pockets here. Okay. And the last one. Kind of look like little flower pots now. Okay, so let me get this out of the way. Now I'm just going to fold on all my score marks. And then I'm going to apply tape. Oops, I'm out of frame, sorry. So I'm going to fold on the score mark and apply tape. Oh, kitty alert. Hey, come here. She likes to sit on top of my laptop, so if she gets on there, I think it's going to stop the video. I'm just lining it up with the score marks. And I'm just going to do that on all of these pockets. Okay, so now I'm just going to burnish it down. Now this flap here is what I was talking about. It doesn't close all the way now. Hey, you're in my camera. Okay, I'll flip it this way. It doesn't close all the way now because of the bulk of these pockets. So I'm just going to lay it down and line it up here. And then I'm going to use my bone folder and just go over this edge here.